Once upon a time, in a far-off kingdom, there lay a small village at the edge of the woods.
Hello, I'm Joel, and this is the very first episode of my new YouTube channel, Joel Z Reviewer. I call it Joel Z Reviewer, the Joel part, because that's my name, and the Z part because, well, just to make it cool. Now, on this channel, I'm gonna review a lot of stuff, such as TV, movies, video games, and more. So, for my very first episode, I'm going to review the movie Into the Woods. So, the story begins like this. There was a village, and by the edge of that village was the woods. We start off with 3 stories: Cinderella, Jack and the Beanstalk, and a baker and his wife who desperately want a child more than anything. So, just to remind you what's going on, here's what's happening. Cinderella, played by Anna Kendrick, wants to go to the ball, which lasts 3 days. Now that's the kind of party I want to be at. Jack, played by Daniel Huddlestone, has a cow named Milky White, and this cow cannot make milk. So, it's named Milky White, and it can't bring the white dairy. And as for the baker and his wife, in their shop was none other than, you guessed it, Little Red Riding Hood, played by Lila Crawford. So, she took a bunch of sweets and some bread for her granny, and then she left the place without paying. So, what happens next? A witch, played by Marilyn Streep, busts down the door, walks inside, and said, in the next 3 days, a blue moon will come for a curse to be broken. Got that? Good. And what's the curse, you may ask? Well, a witch put a spell on that house where the baker and his wife live. The baker's mom was hungry, so the baker's dad went into the witch's garden, but the witch caught him. But the witch decided to let him go off with a warning. But after that, he took some magic beans. After that, the witch kidnapped the baker's sister. After that, the baker's mom died. And then after that, the baker's dad left him. And that all happened when the baker was a baby. So, in order for the curse to be broken, the baker and his wife had to gather 4 items to break the curse. They had to get a bloody red cloth, a white cow, yellow corn hair, and a golden slipper. And they had to do it in 3 days if they want a baby. So, Jack goes into the woods to sell the cow. Cinderella goes in to meet her fairy godmother. And as for the baker, played by James Corden, he wants to go into the woods to find the items. But his wife, played by Emily Blunt, wants to go with him. But the baker insisted that he has to go by himself. And now, it's time to go. Back to Cinderella, she got her wish to go to the fancy ball, and her wish came true. Back to Little Red Riding Hood, she was being stalked by a wolf, played by Johnny Depp, and the girl gave the wolf her granny's address. So the wolf went there. Then the baker comes in, followed by the witch. Oh, and by the way, the witch cannot touch any of the items. And then the baker's wife followed him, and of course, then they both see Jack with the cow. So they bought the cow for magic beans. So, again, to bring you up to speed, they bought the cow in exchange for magic beans. Real magic beans. Then they decided to split up. Later, we cut to a prince played by Billy Madison. Saw the witch with the baker's sister, Rapunzel, played by Mackenzie Mancy. Back to Little Red, she went to her granny's house and got there. But when she got there, the door was open. So she went in and she got eaten. Conveniently, the baker heard her scream, went inside, killed the wolf, and saved Little Red and her granny. And in return, Little Red gave him her cloth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I know, don't be scared. Granny is right, just be prepared. Isn't it nice to know a lot? And a little bit not.
Back to Jack. His mom was wazzed off because she thought he did something really dumb. Tossed the beans on the ground and grew into a beanstalk. But we'll get back to that later. That night, Cinderella got her wish to dance with the prince, played by Chris Pine. But then she ran off. Then the prince knew what he had to do. Then later, Cinderella ran into the baker's wife. Then she saw the gold slipper, but she ran off, also losing the cow. Uh-oh, someone's in trouble now. One day down. The next morning, the bees turned into a beanstalk. Later, Jack found out, and then he found the baker and gave him 5 pieces of really big gold from the sky with giants. Yeah, he went there. Then later, the 2 princes met up with each other, and get this, they're brothers. Then they talked about Cinderella and Rapunzel, and talking about her hair. Then the baker's wife heard it, and so she went there to get some. That night, she went to the tower and took some of Rapunzel's hair, without knowing it's been touched by the witch. Later, the second night of the party, Cinderella ran off again. But the baker's wife caught up with her and tried to get the shoe again, but doesn't succeed. Back to the baker, he tried to get some hair. Instead, he found the cow. Then the 2 reunited again, with 3 of the 4 items. Then they finally decided to work together.
They left. Surely we can locate the slipper by then.
We? Do you mean you're going to let me stay with you?
Perhaps it'll take 2 of us to have this child.
None, we've got 3. We need 1. It takes 2.
Yeah! And then Jack met up with the baker and his wife. But when he tried to get the cow back, well, at first, he gave him some more gold. But then, the cow died. The next day, the prince went back to Rapunzel's, but when the witch saw it, she killed him. And then, she got off Rapunzel's hair. Later, Little Red Riding Hood told Jack to go up the beanstalk and get the magic harp. So, Jack took the dare. But the giant was so wazzed off about it, he chased him. Fortunately, Jack got there first, cut down the beanstalk and the giant with it. Then, the baker and his wife decided to split up again to get the rest of the items. That night, Cinderella ran off again from the ball, but this time, the prince thought before he did. Then Cinderella left the gold slipper on purpose. When she ran off, the baker's wife stopped her just to have her shoe for a bean. Then she tossed it. But she gave the slipper in exchange for her own shoes. Then the prince caught her, but they only needed one slipper. Then they left, not knowing that a second beanstalk was growing. Later, the prince went into the village to find her. When she got to Cinderella's house, the stepsisters tried it on first. But when it didn't fit, desperate times called for desperate measures. But it was obvious. But they found Cinderella. And as for the stepsisters, well, let's just say they got what they deserve.
Cinderella's bird swooped down upon the stepsisters.
At the swamp, Rapunzel got found by the prince, who was not dead, just blinded, but only temporarily. Back to the baker and his wife, they got all 4 items. But the witch found out that the cow has just been flowered. But she can bring the dead cow back to life, so that's not important right now. What is important is that they got back to Jack and his mom. The witch brought the cow back to life. So here's what they had to do next. They had to feed the cow the items. But it didn't work since the witch touched the hair. Fortunately, they had some corn hair, which technically counted, so it worked. So the baker and his wife got a baby boy, Jack got his cow back, Cinderella and Rapunzel were with their princess, and then everything was good. And then, that's when you think the movie's over. It's not. Then the baker and his wife ran into the woods, conveniently running into Little Red, who lost her mom. Then they ran into the stepmother and sisters, who ran into Jack's mom. Then the giant's wife came in, asking where Jack is, killing Jack's mom. So the witch decided they had to sacrifice Jack if they want to save everybody. Then Rapunzel ran off with the prince, knowing everything that the witch does. Later, the baker, his wife, and Little Red decide to split up if they want to find Jack. But instead, the baker's wife found Cinderella's prince, and the baker found Cinderella. And then back to the baker's wife, after her and the prince making out, the prince left, and then the giant came in, killing the baker's wife. Later, Cinderella and the baker met off with Little Red, and then the witch came in with Jack. And then later, well, actually like a few seconds later, Jack told the baker that his wife died. And then after everybody blaming everybody, the witch sang a song and then disappeared, never to be seen again. And then it's what is true, that's everybody's fault. And then the baker left, leaving his kid with Cinderella, Little Red, and Jack. But quickly came back after seeing his dad's spirits, knowing what he had to do. So he came up with a plan. So they made a trap. The trap was set. And then later, the baker told Jack that his mom died. Then back to Cinderella, her prince came, but then they just decided to split up from now on. Like, the fastest breakup in Disney ever. Yep. Anyway, the job worked. Then everything was good. Little Red, Jack, and Cinderella lived with the baker and his son, and everything was good. And the movie ended with the baker telling his son the story. So, that was the movie Into the Woods, made by Disney. Now, before I end this video of my new YouTube channel, Joel Z Reviewer, I just want to say thank you for watching my very first video of my new channel, Joel Z Reviewer. And I'm going to have 3 more channels, Joel Z Show, Joel Z TV, and Joel Z Gaming. So, subscribe and leave comments, and I'll share the best ones in my future videos. So, this has been Joel Z Reviewer. I'm Joel. Goodbye.